Let's talk about the heart when the heart is numb, as opposed to when the heart is awake and alive. Many of us in the contemporary world are living with numbed hearts, meaning when the heart is not enlivened and healthy and awake, everything out here is just things. Even people are just things that we can exploit, manipulate. But as the heart begins to awaken, we begin to sense not only are human beings tender, sensitive beings, but we begin to experience that this whole life is animate, that there's nothing inanimate. The Native Americans, First Nations, have a good sense of this. For them, all the animals, the trees, the rocks, all have a living quality. To me, this is a sign that the heart is awake. But when the heart shuts down, when it has become numbed, in a lot of ways, sometimes when it becomes numbed, there are only things. And this is a terrible poverty. To live in such a state is less than human. It's a crippled state of our humanness. So the question for all of us is, how do we overcome our numbness, which is often caused by pain or trauma? Sometimes it's caused by overindulgence, which also is often a reaction to our own emotional pain. If we feel emotional pain at one level, we just want to sort of shut it down. And so we indulge in substances or drink or even food or entertainments. All of this contributes to a numbing of the heart. The unnumbing of the heart begins through, first of all, the awakening of presence. By presence, I mean a comprehensive awareness that can at one time encompass our thinking, our emotions, our bodily perceptions, our behaviors. In that comprehensive awareness we call presence, and it's close to what some people call mindfulness. In that state of pure presence, when the mind can begin to become a little more quiet, the emotions a little more still, it's then that we can begin to access this deeper level of our experience, which is the heart. The heart, which is an instrument for sensing existence qualitatively and realizing that we live in a universe made up of all of these incredible qualities. For instance, the qualities of awe and majesty, the qualities of tenderness and compassion, the qualities of forgiveness and generosity, the qualities of beauty, of meaning. Now, so far, science has not successfully measured or accounted for this dimension of human experience. Yes, they can measure that the brain may react in a certain way and show a certain waveform when we are in a state of mindfulness, but it doesn't tell us what that waveform actually is, what it feels like. So the heart is also the instrument that senses value. And I mean, this is incredibly important. Imagine if you were a human being living in a world just exactly as the world is through your senses, but you had no sense of value. What would life be like? What would human relationships be like? Take away the tenderness, take away the longing, take away the subtle satisfactions of friendship, of work done well, of even the satisfaction of modest integrity in a human being. The most important things in life are invisible, not visible. And the heart operates in this invisible world, and it's with us all the time. Now, my Sheikh Suleiman Dede, he was a very simple man. The very first time he came to the United States, his message for us barbarians, and we were barbarians at that time, was keep the love of God in your heart. Keep the love of Allah in your heart, and you will have nothing to fear, and you will be full of energy, and you will love life. And he was a living example of that. This is the simple message. Keep the love of God in your heart. But this is not a theology. This is not a God of any particular religion. It's not a God in a dualistic sense of an ultimate being we have to please or we should fear. It's something much subtler than that. It's something about the nature of reality, that reality itself is love. And there's nothing more important for us to know than to know this. And the only way we're going to truly know it is with this instrument called the heart, which has a different kind of knowing than the brain. Somebody could repeat these words, but without the lived experience of this, and they would just be talking words, and what would it matter? What would it sound like? It would sound like talk. It would just sound like theory. But it's possible to live these truths. It's possible to make it the very core of our experience. So how do we do it? Well, there's so much to be said about this. I almost don't even want to begin. But I'll come back to a few simple things and say, it begins with presence. It begins with that state in which we are whole and in the present moment and not living completely in our heads or preoccupied with desires, comforts, discomforts, and pleasures of the body, but when we are living in an awakened state.